Welcome. I channeled back in 2021 over a couple week period, distinct messages from spirit. And I did this through automatic writing. And I shared these messages with 8 friends through email. And it seems relevant to resurrect these messages right now and to share them on YouTube. So I'm going to share 2 more days of messages. The first day is a little bit tough to hear, and then the second day feels sweeter. So here they are. They say to me, "Dearest one, how goes it? The landscape outside of your life is looking beautiful these days. You're listening to your inner being and making the choices most aligned with your soul's calling. Please feel free to ask us any questions that you have, dearest one." And then I ask, how are things going to happen this fall, meaning the fall of 2021? And they said, think of a building, yes, one of the Twin Towers, and think of it as a structure that has been built on lies and untruths. When these lies and untruths are exposed, the building will start to crumble. It will happen brick by brick until one day the building is gone. And I say to them, this sounds frightening. Well, yes, it is a tragedy depending on your viewpoint. Let's say you're in the building. Well, yes, a tragedy indeed. Let's say you are viewing the building from the sky, less so of a tragedy. The higher you are in the sky, less and less so. The necessary old needs to leave for the necessary new to come in, they say. And please don't take these words as literal in terms of what happened during 9/11. Please take this as metaphorical. Timeline, please, I asked them. Well, if we are correct, we will say that September things are starting, but they aren't seen. By October, there will be a rumbling like thunder, and some will hear it, and others will remain oblivious. By November, the building will rock and shake, and only a fool will remain in the building. We use the word fool as a very young spirit, maybe even a sacrificial spirit. And then by December, the building will start to crumble and it will be seen by all, really just about everyone. Does the building represent the United States? And they say yes. Is this timeline accurate? And they say yes. This is frightening, I say. I question if this is correct. And they say truly it is. And I write back then, it is September midpoint and there isn't much time. What should we do? This brings up fear. And they tell me, pray, meditate, enjoy nature, start to lift your awareness to a level where it can be viewed from the heavens. Only then will you be in less pain. It will be a yearning kind of pain that you experienced before. And then they remind me of 2004 when I walked out of a store and thought, remember when? So back in 2004, I was on vacation with my family at Bethany Beach, and it was, I think, in Maryland, I want to say. And my then husband and I were in a store and we walked out together and there was this American flag and I was catapulted to the future, looking back at this flag saying, remember when? Um, so Well, if we are lifted from a higher perspective, I ask, how can we help others? You can help others by being in full centered body awareness and holding space for their disbelief and pain. There will be many who are in denial who will remain in the collapsed building. This is where the true tragedy will lie. Those who do not listen to the signs of karma and who remain in a collapsed building. You mean this metaphorically, I ask. And they said, yes, we don't expect you to leave the country. This is your roots, remain here. Our roots, yes, you are here and have roots that have been put down in this lifetime and most likely for many, many lifetimes. What can we do after this? And they say, clean up the rubble. What else can you do? Brick by brick, move them aside and see what is left in the rubble. The structure is just bricks and mortar. Look at the essence that will remain, the life force that wants to live and breathe, that wants to be distilled. Where will we go from there? For each of you, this will be a decision of choice that will matter. For you space holders, life animators, this will be a time for you to truly shine, as this building was quite stifling for you, like a suit that didn't fully fit. The agony? Yes, there will be weeping and sorrow and agony. The agony will be in the winds, the rains, and the fire. The agony will be in the elements. They will be there to help sweep aside a building that has passed its time, a building that was most beautiful in its heyday, but for everything that begins on the worldly plane, it also must end. Remember, all that you have is really a dream, and nothing is real but God. God is real, they say. We want this world that you live in to come to this realization that what you have worshiped and beheld wasn't real. It wasn't real at all, just a dream that needs to come to what they say, a shattering conclusion. Will this happen fast, I ask? For each person, it will happen at its own speed, but when the building truly crashes down and there is nothing left, well, it will be everyone who eventually realizes it, except those who are mad indeed. Next year, I ask. It isn't known or seen as it hasn't played out yet. Even in the cosmos, it hasn't truly been played out by fated karma. This is where you come in, you and the other light beamers who stay with you, who do not go into the delusionary form and remain in a building as it crumbles. It is time for illumination, they say, illumination. It is time for this. Light beamers, you will lead the way to God like a storm troop. You will give hope to those who are worshiping something that is dead, but never was alive. You will walk those who are in a zombie-like state or those in utter despair towards the light of the Almighty God. You will pave a path for the new beginning. So for now, get ready. All those light workers who speak and have spoken in the past recent years, like Eckhart Tolle, Wayne Dyer, the Bible, Shakti Gawain, they mention a bunch, enlightened beings who you can find time to listen to them for their hopeful words. Their words will help you feel supported in your mission. But most of all, they say meditate. Get quiet as you go about your last days in this dream world that wasn't real. It wasn't real at all, and this is a wake-up call, they say. Do not go down with the rubble, step higher into the cosmos so that you can get a clear vision as to what to do next. Do not align with anyone who offers false hope that the building is real and that it should stay. It needs to crumble, they say. It needs to collapse. We understand your affinity for it, as we too have been there. We too have walked with you in your journey in the betterment of the soul that only could have been found through the earthly experience. There was no and is no wrong at all, they say, just a worshiping of something. Hard. Oh. Just a worshiping of something that was temporal as if it was real, and something real like God was temporal. Yes, I think you understand. The us or US most beautiful structure of hope and lies and love and truths and untruths all can be found in duality. The US is no different than any other country, no different at all. Better than most, it is just the leader and the leader of the temporal or unreal world that needs to fall so that other lesser nations can fall, and then we can rebuild heaven on earth. Heaven on earth, this is what needs to be built. Do not mistake this task as easy. It can only be done with the acquiescence of love. Do not fight the forces against you, as there will be many. Just align yourself with us and do the right thing. Each time something presents, say, what would God do? What feels authentically right for me to do? Vibrate with the highest beings, not the lowest. And then Archangel Michael comes through and says, I will lead you to, this is so hard. I will lead you to carry the torch. The torch will burn for quite some time indeed. Your decisions matter less than how you do them. Again, that same message. How you do them matters. Catch yourself each time you, and he repeats, each time that you fall into lower energies. There can be no actions that lead you down a dark path, a path that isn't illuminated with the light. You are the charged ones, they say, the leaders, and there are many of you, and others will join, and I'm sorry to say, others will fall away. They will fall away indeed, as they don't have the fortitude to do this work. Get down each day and thank God for his aligned presence in your life as heaven and earth are joining, they say. You're reaching up, and we are lifting down to catch you and help you on this crusade. The crusade of finding truth once and for all. Blessed be. That was a tough one to read. Okay, this is a nice, lighter message. Blessed be, sweet one, how goes it? The weather is a bit cooler today. Changes are to be expected this fall. This was back on September 16th, 2021. But do not see them as good or bad, just is. For many people, there will be exhilaration with these changes as the room was stuffy, so to speak. There will be more freedom to be who one is and say what one wants. Consciousness is changing rapidly, and we are so happy for you, as you do not realize how close we are to you. So close that you are we and we are you, very little separation. I know that you have a question on different planes of I know that you had a question on different planes of consciousness, and it is difficult to understand from your perspective, but let me try for you and your audience. It is like a step ladder, and there are different floors, and each floor above is more magnificent than the floor below. But there is no understanding of the floors that are above you, just the ones below you. Just an understanding of what is better than was, but not what could be even more magnificent. So I might not even need to say this, but let me just say it anyway. So you're on a floor, and the floors below you realize are below you and how far you've come, but you don't have a concept of what's above you until you open to it. We are speaking to you from the highest floors. The highest floors, and in your imagination or a tickling of the soul, there's an urge for many light beamers to keep going up, to explore, a curiosity perhaps of how things could be even better. So there is a hint when you get to the upper floors that you can keep going up if you wish. Now, many souls are satisfied with the floor that they're on, as there's stability or relative stability and remaining on a certain floor. But this, they say, is illusionary, as the lower floors may seem dense and more stable because density exists in your dimension, but it doesn't exist once you pass on through the veil. So they're saying, like, people want to stay where they're at because it feels stable. But what they're saying is, from the spirit world, that stability is illusionary. So when some beings are on the lower floor and think, oh, I'm safe, this is stable, and then they die, well, what do they have? Just a yearning for something that never really existed in the real realm. Does this make sense? They ask. So when you're on Earth and you have this memory that there is so much more than this, what you're experiencing in the third dimension, it gives this hope that what is actually real will be even more magnificent when you return home. Now, why do you care about the lower realms and those who don't want to go farther? They asked me. And they asked me rhetorically. Well, first of all, the deepest aspect of the inner being is connected to the light, but the switch is off. And there is some remote level that there on the third dimension, those living on the third dimension know this. There is a remembering, a longing. So they're saying those who are stuck in the illusionary levels still have a longing for more. And they go round and round looking for it externally through drinking, drugs, other people, things, noises. They've forgotten their true nature, they say, and that the light switch can be activated on other floors that rest within. So these floors are found within us. They asked me, does this make sense? So there is a responsibility and ability for the higher realms to help all reconcile existence on all planes to come together in unity. The upper floors want to share, to illuminate. So we all know that you're confused with yesterday's message that seemed overwhelming and heavy, but remember, this is temporal, and it will be much easier to navigate. Let me repeat, easier, if you remember that where you came from, you will return to, and it will be even more magnificent than you can imagine. You are a light bearer of truth, Chris, and we're proud to call you one of us. Your friends are navigating with you. So I'm like these friends, whoever are listening. Some are beside you, others are a bit behind you, but there is a marching that is taking place with many souls across your world divide that will usher in the new earth. Nothing will be truly lost, as what is lost is in your mind and never truly existed in truth and love. So that's the message, the second message, which is a little, shall we say, lighter. Thank you for listening today. I know for me, this was a tough message to think that so much of the world that we live in, specifically in the United States, will be changing, and anything that doesn't have integrity will fall away. That's how I'm interpreting this message, that everything that has integrity and is aligned with light or God will continue, but that which is lacking in integrity based on fear and greed and manipulation will fall away, and structures will need to fall before new ones can be put into place. So thank you for listening. I appreciate your comments, and I understand that this might not be your paradigm. So take whatever resonates with you, especially those pieces that are imbued with love, and let go of the rest. Have a good day.